Deadpool 3 is officially happening at Disney Studios. Now, I was a big doubter Deadpool 3 would happen under Disney because they don't really do R-rated movies. I was a little bit disappointed that Fox was bought out by Disney a few years ago because I liked the X-Men universe. I liked how different the movies were from each other. You never knew exactly what you were going to get as a fan. And for me, that was pretty interesting for the comic book movie genre because the Marvel films can be very similar. The DC films have their own thing. So the Fox ones were just a little bit different. And I liked how they took risks and didn't have the continuity as the others did, and just weren't afraid to bring other directors in and do their thing. But Deadpool 1 and 2 for me were absolutely brilliant. And Deadpool 2 makes my top 10 favourite comic book movies of all time. It was absolutely brilliant. And I've watched it more times since I've seen it in theatres, and it's gotten better every single time. It really is absolutely a brilliant comic book film. Josh Brolin brought in as Cable was brilliant. Sassy Beats in it as well. It's just a really, really well-made film. So I had my doubts that an R-rated Deadpool film would happen, or even a Deadpool 3 film would happen. I don't think a PG-13 film would work too well with Deadpool, especially with the two R-rated ones that we have gotten. I think it needs to be R-rated. That's just my opinion. That PG-13 version that did of Deadpool 2 a few years ago around Christmas, Once Upon a Time in Deadpool or something like that, it wasn't great. It didn't really stick. Took out all the gore, the blood, the cursing. It just was really, really flat, and it didn't impress me whatsoever. So that's my opinion on a PG-13 Deadpool film. I'm sure they could make it work, make a good film, but I just think it would be a missed opportunity, especially with the two that we've already gotten. Now, is this Deadpool film going to be on its own as the other two are? Now, it had references to Marvel, to DC, to the other X-Men movies. Will this one do the same, or will it be connected into the MCU universe? I'm interested in that part also. I think it should be its own thing and take jokes at Disney, take jokes at X-Men and all that kind of stuff again. But if Kevin Feige wanted Deadpool to be in the MCU, then I'd be happy with him being a PG-13 version of Deadpool, maybe working with Spider-Man, being funny, having comedic films like that. I think it would work pretty well, but have his standalone films be already. You don't have to have the other MCU characters pop up. You can keep Colossus there. You can keep Teenage, whatever the hell her long name was. But I'm looking forward to that part. But I'm just glad Deadpool 3 is happening. There's new writers on board, which has me a little bit concerned because the writers for the last two movies were absolutely brilliant. And Ryan Reynolds has a lot of pull with this franchise. He really, really does. So we can all squash those Green Lantern rumours that were circling for a long time. Seemingly he was in talks, but he just didn't have the time to pop up. And I think it's probably the best decision that he took Deadpool on instead of Green Lantern. He gets to be his own star in Deadpool, and he's the one who leads the films. But let's get into what Deadline was saying. Now, Justin Kroll, one of the writers, says Deadpool 3 gains momentum as Marvel Studios and Ryan Reynolds tap the Moloxic sisters to pen the sequel. Marks the first time Feige and his team will work hand in hand with Reynolds on the former Fox property. He went on to say, sources now say the film is still expected to be rated R like the previous two installments. Good news. Then Grace Randolph had this to say about Green Lantern. As for Green Lantern, I'm hearing that Reynolds is, unfortunately, just really too busy. So no Green Lantern in the Snyder Cut, but another hero will fill that spot. But that's all good, and Reynolds has been really supportive. We continue to stan Ryan and Zach Hollywood Mavericks. She also says, to clarify, Green Lantern as a character will not be in the Snyder Cut, which is false, Grace. I'll get to that in a second. And she says, to clarify, regarding Green Lantern in the Snyder Cut, there was a Green Lantern scene with Batman where the Batman half was already shot. There was talk of completing that scene maybe with Ryan Reynolds. It didn't pan out, so no current Green Lantern in the movie. You're getting a ton of other cool stuff. There is a Green Lantern because in the history lesson we see a glimpse of a Green Lantern, but what Grace was trying to say is there's nobody cast as Hal Jordan Green Lantern for the Snyder Cut movie. There could be an Easter egg, there could be a hint, but for now there is no Green Lantern. Okay, so that's okay. An R-rated Deadpool film, I'm happy with that. Ryan Reynolds not appearing as Deadpool, or as Green Lantern I should say, in the Snyder Cut. I'm okay with that as well. Let him do his Deadpool thing. Get someone else in there as Green Lantern. But Green Lantern doesn't play that big of a role in the Snyder Cut. You know, Zack Snyder's a lot of characters to introduce. He has Lex Luthor, he's got Deathstroke, he's got Joker, plus all the heroes as well. Steppenwolf, D-Sad. This film is already absolutely jam-packed. So a little Easter egg or a hint towards Green Lantern is fine by me. So guys, let me know your thoughts. Deadpool 3 officially happening at Disney. Kevin Feige and Ryan Reynolds are working hand in hand with this character. Is it going to be R-rated? Is it going to be PG-13? Is it going to be in the MCU? Or is it going to stand alone and be its own thing? What do you guys think in the comments below? Guys, come follow me on all the social medias. That stuff is in the description. Also come and follow the Facebook page. Also, come and discuss any video ideas, throw them my way, and I'll try and do something about it. As always guys, I thank you very much for listening to this video, and come back for more. movie news.